So, all these mid-size sedans from BMW, Mercedes, they all have entry-level trims in their cars. Those are the standard trims that they have, which are the cheapest ones. They have the fewest features, and they're just so you can get into that category. But they don't have all the amenities. Those are left for the higher trims. So we think we found the best mid-size sedan with the best entry-level trim. This is the 2016 Lexus GS 200T. It's finished in this Nebula Gray Pearl on the outside. It's got 18-inch gray wheels. This has the navigation package with it. So this is the one of the only cars that has a very low base price in this segment. The BMW 5 Series has a base price of $51,000. The Mercedes E-Class, the E300, has a base price of $52,000. This has a base price of somewhere between $46,000 to $47,000 starting. It has a 4-cylinder inside, which is turbocharged, and that's a big surprise to many people because Lexus is a company that chooses naturally aspirated engines over turbocharged engines. But this is obviously a mid-size sports sedan in its segment, and it is the leading mid-size in terms of Lexus, as Lexus has two mid-size sedans. It also has the ES, but the GS has always been a rear-wheel drive platform mid-size sedan, basically going head-to-head with the 5 Series and E-Class. You can also compare the ES350 to the E-Class and 5 Series, but that is a front-wheel drive platform, and that is the more affordable one of these two. So the real competitor of the German mid-size sports sedans is the GS, no matter if you get the 200T, 350, or GSF that we reviewed last time. So this has low-profile tires. Basically, this isn't the F-Sport one. This is the total basic GS 200T. But all the F-Sport tuning does is change up the suspension, makes it more sporty, and it adds the front spindle grille into a mesh pattern. This has the line pattern. So this, in considering it is an entry-level trim, has blind spot monitoring, and it has navigation, this one specifically. And with the navigation package, you also get these bigger premium wheels. They're 18 inches. And the reason the front end is so low is because there are no motors in the front wheels, just like the GSF. This is a rear-wheel drive. The engine makes 241 horsepower, and this is basically all you can use on the street. 241 horsepower, that's perfect. When we were coming here to film in this car, the GSF and the GS 200T were basically very similar. The only thing is the V8 sound was something that a lot of people would love to have, but this is a very cheap car, and it's very low in terms of price in comparison of BMW and Mercedes. So inside, just like all these other mid-size sedan entry levels, they do come with the faux leather, which is leatherette basically, or you could call it faux leather. They're not leather standard, and the thing about Lexus is the way they make this the entry level so awesome to have is because their faux leather feels almost exactly like leather. Obviously, it's not going to have that smell of the leather, but this is basically the closest you can get to having real leather whilst not having real leather. In terms of horsepower being at 241, the torque is higher than horsepower. It's 258 pound-feet of torque, starting at 1700 RPM all the way to 4400 RPM. The turbocharger kicks in at about 2500 RPM, and from there, obviously, the car flies from the turbocharged push. But this is actually a brilliant attempt for Lexus having a turbocharged engine. They did not fail at it at all. It runs very nice. Under 2500 RPM, it's basically a luxury car, and then whenever you want to kick it into a sport mode, go for it. Sport mode, it also has eco mode and normal. So this is not the F Sport, so it doesn't have a Sport S Plus. It has Sport only. So when you put it to Sport, you can also put it to the manual shifting, and it has paddle shifters, and it has minus plus on the gearbox, on the gear selector. And it is Sport Direct Shift, which is what Lexus calls it, and it's I think it's one of the best shifting automatic transmissions. It's an 8-speed automatic also, and in order to open the car, you obviously just slide your hand behind the door handle with keyless entry, and then you can lock it by pressing this button. So it also has blind spot monitoring, and you can turn traction control off to have the most fun for having a rear-wheel drive car. And the thing about the 200T is the way Lexus has it set up, if you want rear-wheel drive only, which is what this car is, then you have to get the 4-cylinder. Obviously, for the GS350 and GSF, they both provide rear-wheel drive, but this one you don't have an option, it's only rear-wheel drive. And the reason why this car is at McGrath Lexus of Westmont here today and nobody has bought it is because here in the Midwest, in the Chicagoland area, when it's winter, nobody drives a rear-wheel drive car. But this only has 241 horsepower, and it has snow mode, so it shouldn't be a problem at all, but nobody's buying it. And this car starts around 46, 47,000. This one is about probably 49 or 50 just with that navigation and everything. It has Pioneer audio, no Mark Levinson for this model because it is the base trim level. And the really cool thing about this car is right now, if you're in the Chicagoland area, the resale value for the first time, this is one of the first times, because you know Lexus, everybody knows them for having great value. The thing is, in the Chicagoland area, the couple models that are in the Chicagoland area, their value has dropped a lot, like drastically. This is 2016, and we're about to approach 2018. This only has 9,000, almost 10,000 miles on it. And just because of that rear-wheel drive, it's only $35,000. So it's basically the best bargain. In order to put that point, the price point into perspective, that's about having the highest trim level in a Camry, and this is basically the cheapest Lexus you can buy that has like a mid-size platform, because the cheapest car from Lexus is basically the IS 200T, which is around 37,000 or 38,000. So this is a very good bargain. So this is the interior. And this is basically the exact same interior from the GSF, except you do not have a Mark Levinson speaker over here. This has 4 less cylinders, but sounds really good. Let's do it. That's the turbocharged 4-cylinder, and it looks so nice when it starts up. Lexus Inform system. We could put it to normal. This is normal right now, and then sport, and it gets red. And when you put it to eco, it gets blue. So put it to sport, the throttle response is sharpened, the car gets stiffer, and you can use the paddle shifters from when you're driving. This car actually has 10,010 miles, so it basically, this car, you could buy it. You should not buy it if you're in the Chicagoland area new, because the value, because of that rear-wheel drive drivetrain, it drops severely. So this is basically the best bargain for a car, especially from a big company right now. Right now their value is strong, but I guess you could say it's weak because it's dropped so much. And the steering is electric power assistance, so it turns really light at low speeds. Actually, let's put it to normal. Now it's a little bit lighter when you're out of sport, and it's speed sensing, so when it gets to a higher speed, the steering gets tighter. And we have the analog clock in the middle. And this has Pioneer premium audio. You can put discs still, don't worry, people who like CDs. Here's the cup holder right here, 2 drinks. And this is just gear shifter. It feels really nice. It's got leather stitching in the front, leather wrapped. Then people always make fun of this joystick for the Lexus cars for their navigation system, but I personally think it's really awesome. Like it feels like you're using a computer in the car, and the movement isn't really bad. The other really awesome thing is if you go into the settings, you can go to setup, and for those people who feel like it moves a little too fast, you can go to general and then go down a little bit. Like right now it's going pretty fast, so you could go down and you can choose the feedback force. So you go to feedback force, which is right here, and it's at half right now, so it feels kind of fast, you know. It's skipping over a couple things. You put it to full, and now you get the best feeling thing. Now it stops at everything, you know, the joystick. So yeah, and Pioneer premium audio, there's not really that big of a difference between Mark Levinson and premium audio. Obviously in Mark Levinson you get a lot more speakers. And the thing about this GS is, in the GSF, it had the older GS steering wheel that they had, which was a little bit bigger. But this one's, the 3 spokes are very prominent, and it feels really good. The paddle shifters feel really good also. They feel nice. You got blind spot monitoring, and yeah, that's basically it. You got your coin holder over here, and these mirror controls are so good, and it's soft close also, so when you're pulling it up, it kind of slows down and then closes, which is awesome. You got this kind of wood accented type trim, and keep in mind that this is the base entry-level trim for this car, but everything about it feels very premium. It's not like you're left out from having a Lexus in terms of fit and finish and quality. And this New Lux is what Lexus calls their faux leather. It feels great. Like, you can, if you don't know about New Lux, then basically you can consider this leather. Here's the armrest. You can move it back to have this type of position, and then this part will be open. You open the whole thing. You got a little tray up here that you can take out. Then you got your little auxiliary port, and for those power outlet. And yeah, that's it for the front seats. Now let's head on over to the back seats. So just because this is the entry-level trim in terms of the mid-size sports sedans, this is basically what you had in the GSF. There's nothing really different. You get the same armrest in this car, and get the cup holders right there. You know, open and close those. Then you have a little pocket area on the side, and it says no smoking here too. And you got a little Pioneer speaker right here, another one down there, and of course, just like the GSF, this has the same soft touch materials that you come to expect from a luxury car, even if it's the base level trim. Plus, for legroom, since this is a rear-wheel drive platform, and it's meant to be tossable in corners, and it's a very sporty car, the legroom is still short, even if it's not the GSF. But the really awesome thing about these seats is that they have like inlays, so you can put your knees right here and relax, and you don't really get that uncomfortable. This is at my dad's position. He's 6'2", and I'm 6 feet, and I'm pretty fine back here. It's not a big deal. If I sit like this, I have like about an inch of legroom. It's pretty nice, and then you can obviously put this one down, have a great time, you know. And these soft seat belts are so nice. You can just pull them really easily. It's just like the steering wheel. It's like they're electric power assisted, but they're not, obviously. So that's that. The headrest is a little bit stiff. You can position that however you want to, but it just feels a little stiff. Then you got these 2 lights up here. Then the handles on the side. But I just wish these had a little bit better like material, because my 2009 ES350 has leather stitching on this part, which is really cool. And I'm not just saying that it's like, oh wow, leather stitching, but I really wish this had this, because this is a more expensive car than the ES350. That car starts at $38,000, the new one at least, and this one starts at $46,000. So it's almost a $10,000 price difference. And that's pretty much it for the backseat. Alright, so here is the turbocharged inline 4. Let's hope I can find this thingy. Wait, it's right here. Got you. I'm not gonna mess it up this time. Here it is. It's the 2.0 liter. That's why it's called the GS200T, because that's the way Lexus has their model name set up. Like the ES350 is a 3.5, you know, you put that decimal point right after the 3. This is a 2.0 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. It says turbo on the top because Lexus is proud they're making such an awesome engine, because Lexus is not one to make turbocharged engines. Radiator obviously in the front. It's a very, very nice car. Like, even if you don't get the F Sport version, it just, you get that whole essence in the car that this is based off of the very first GS, which is a rear-wheel drive sports sedan. A lot of people call Lexus boring, so let me try to support them and be one of those reviewers who like to say a lot of bad things. Alright? So, the spindle grille, I hate it, okay? Why is this emblem so big? Why does everything about this car suck? Why is Lexus so boring? Just kidding. Everything, I personally love the spindle grille. First of all, the spindle grille is beautiful. It has the lined version. The F Sport gets the mesh grille. And, oh wait, I'm supposed to hate this car. So I hate this. This looks like something a ripoff off from Nike. I don't like these LED light bulbs. You know, why doesn't this have bird's eye view? What else? Let me think of more complaints. Oh yeah, coming down to the back. Wow, this looks so cheap. Look at this aftermarket, this fake black piece of the light. It actually looks so good. You know this, when it's going down the street and somebody presses on the brake lights, only this part lights up and that part looks so like cool and mysterious. It looks awesome. So you don't get the the stacked exhausts, but you do get an awesome diffuser, and this is the first time I've ever noticed that. And you get this cover in order to make it look super sleek. Obviously it's a 4-cylinder, so you're not gonna get big exhaust pipes in the back. Then it has this side skirt, which makes it even look more solid. And the very interesting thing about this door here, you don't see the Germans doing this. This is something really unique just to Lexus. It has this whoop. What is that? I don't even know how to explain it, but it looks awesome. And it makes this car so unique. You can tell they did not copy any other German car. And my final thing that I would like to say is that this car is basically just a Toyota, and all Toyota can do is reliability, and you know, it can never make a true performance car. No, this is its own chassis. This is not shared with any other Toyota right now. This is their new chassis, and everybody loves it. Everybody's saying that this chassis is fantastic down the road, and it really feels like one piece, you know? Sure, you could say about the RCF, then there's 3 different cars that has the front off this car, middle is off the IS convertible, and the back is off the ISF. But this is one car that Lexus made with a lot of passion, that this is their ultimate mid-size sports sedan, and no other sports sedan can touch it, which has been pretty true. I mean, this car is truly exceptional, and it feels luxurious and awesome for its price point starting at $46. It's great. Now let's go ahead and drive it. And you cannot tell how fast you're going in this car, because when you look down at the speedometer, you're like, you know, oh, I'm gonna get a ticket now. But this is by far the best GS in terms of road performance. So it's got those beautiful tachometer, and the speedometer is great, and it's just so stiff. Just pulls. After that turbocharged kicks in, this is like a baby GSF. Alright, so this is in Sport Direct shift manual setting. Tachometer just flies past all the numbers, and it makes that peak power till 4,400 RPM, so that's when you can utilize the torque best. And the downshifts are so quick. This is the same transmission from the GSF. This car is just flying. It's on 8th gear right now, and that's a cruising gear. That's why Lexus has these this many gears. And the downshifts.
I was not expecting, like, you know, a 4-cylinder engine with that much power. I think, you know, the system that they installed in this car, you know, the turbocharged thing is amazing, and it really kicks in. And the gear ratios is amazing. I was on the 8-speed gear, and it was very responsive. Beautiful.
That was at about 6,000 RPM, and that just sounded so tough. Lexus really wants you to use this car to the max on the street as much as you can without getting a speeding ticket. Wow. Now, I'm pretty sure this car does not have any sort of induction for the sound, so the engine, you can tell it's coming all from the front, and it's not the loudest, but it's perfect. It's very pure. And the brakes are so solid. So, the conclusion for this review is that the GS 200T is pretty much the best entry-level trim mid-size sports sedan you can buy in the entire segment. From the navigation to the 4 cylinders, horsepower, peak power all the way up to 4,400 RPM. It's a turbocharger from Lexus, which is also awesome. This two-tone flaxen New Lux interior is absolutely beautiful. You get half black, half the flaxen color. It's like it's almost like a saddle brown from BMW. So it's just a very nice overall luxury car. And the sound deadening when you're sitting inside, when the door shuts, it's just all quiet. And obviously, when you open it, you can hear that 4-cylinder when you put down the windows. Thank you so much to Art Cool at McGrath Lexus of Westmont in the Chicagoland area for providing the vehicle. You can buy this specific one. It has 10,010 miles. It's a certified car. It's only $35K. And yeah, this is basically the best luxury car you can buy for the price point. That's pretty much it, and thank you so much for watching.